I just want to introduce the Digital Makers Collective, who, as I said earlier, are a group of, I think entirely UAL-based artists, students, alumni, staff, working across the UAL institutions and in performance and fashion and various other areas as well. And since COVID started, obviously their ability to meet up has been curtailed. So they were meeting up physically, and I believe for the whole since the pandemic started, they've been meeting up in VR, and working and creating a lot in VR. And so I just wanted to use this as an opportunity for them to present their work and their practice, and how they've found that kind of transition to be. So without any further ado, I'd like to hand it over to you guys. Thank you and welcome.
Great. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, no, we're really pleased to be invited to talk, and also to welcome you to our immersive virtual 3D web space. So yeah, I mean, I'll maybe start just giving a little bit of background of the DMC and basically how we got to where we got to, and then I'll pass over to some of the team just to talk about their experiences. So basically so my name's Chris Follows. I'm this avatar over here. So back in 2015, and there's two people here that were kind of involved in that at that time with the DMC. We basically started meeting and exploring technologies in the room at 8216 Chelsea, and we basically had people sitting around basically saying we're really interested in VR. How do we get our hands on VR and start to explore VR when there's no access to that technology in 2015 at the university? So luckily we formed this collective, and then we had amazing people that came in, like Alejandro, who would bring in like VR, the very first VR headset, the development kit of the Oculus, and basically we formed a collective that had that sort of really good-natured spirit of sort of helping each other and supporting each other, and it was very much like a social network really, around technology. So yeah, over the years we kind of evolved, and then I got offered an associate membership at Tate Modern, and that really cemented the Digital Maker Collective, because that the Digital Maker Collective became a Tate Exchange Associate, and that enabled us to each year to have a real sort of amazing opportunity of putting on a big event at Tate Modern every year, which we've been doing for the last 4 years. And really that was the big incentive for the Digital Maker Collective. So fast forwarding, I can quickly jump over to the Instagram on the screen. You can kind of, where are we? So basically that was around this time on the Instagram feed, where you can see was our last event in March 2020, which was called Uni to Unicorns, which was a fantastic event, and it ended in March. And literally we went into lockdown straight after that. So I think, one, we were all exhausted straight after the Tate Exchange event, and then two, there was that period over lockdown where everyone was scratching their heads wondering what to do. So yes, so during that period, I was really keen to look around and see what the possibilities were for us to continue. Knowing that it was pretty unlikely in September that we were going to be going back to physical collaboration meeting in Camberwell. And then I came across this platform, which is called FrameVR.io, and it's essentially a WebXR platform. It's a browser, accessed by the browser, so literally you don't need to download any application or any program whatsoever. You literally just put the URL in, you click it, and you can enter. So it's super accessible. So I thought this could be potentially a really good platform for us to launch a sort of initiative around the immersive web. So yeah, at that point there was kind of a call out for the DMC, and then there was just an amazing response. And then since then we've literally been exploring the immersive web, but using this platform as like our launchpad. This is like our base camp, if you like. And the DMC can talk more about this in a minute. Yeah, and essentially we've been living at least two times a week, every week since September, in the immersive web, and meeting and basically holding our sort of usual activities. But it's kind of changed, our the way we work together, the way we collaborate, the way we meet. It's all kind of evolved into a different way of doing it, and it's actually a really good way and a really interesting way.
Thank you, Chris.
So, my name is Christina, and I'm one of the founding members of the DMC. I've graduated from Chelsea in 2017 in interior and spatial design, and I've been one of the ones walking by A216 wondering what was going on in 2015, and I saw a 3D printer and I thought, oh, that's interesting. At the time, it wasn't very available, and I was doing the ISD course, interior and spatial design. I thought, hey, maybe I can kind of incorporate that. So we kind of moved into A216 and tried out the 3D printer, doing all these kind of weird and wonderful things. And then, as Chris said, Alejandro came by, and we started developing on the VR, and then there's no going back from there, really. So, and then we've done all these amazing events at Tate, Mozilla, Mozfest, Tate Late, what else? Delphina Art Foundation. We've done loads of stuff. And it's just really interesting how cross-disciplinary this collective is, and how you can learn from each other. And that's really, really valuable. And I would not have had a final project if it wasn't for the DMC, to be honest. So I did my final project in VR, and at the time there was no access to this kit, so the only way I could access it was through the DMC. So I was very grateful that I could. And yeah, and here I am. So today I'm a immersive spatial designer, specializing in VR, and I also have founded a company, an immersive studio, co-founded a company. So yeah, that's me, Mathilde.
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Mathilde Rougier. I came into DMC, well, technically 2 years ago, but I just went to a couple of sessions, and I really started coming last year. And I came to DMC from a point of view of, I was studying at St. Martin's in the fashion design course on the BA. And I was really interested in sustainability, and I had started to look into how emerging technology, especially augmented reality, possibly VR as well, how that could help with sustainability in fashion. So I came in with, kind of that goal, and then I discovered that there was so many more possibilities and other technologies, and I participated in our last Tate event, which I really enjoyed. And I have really found so much support in the Digital Maker Collective, and so much kind of cross collaboration. A lot of the projects that we've developed, kind of come from this kind of crossbreeding of the fact that we, come from all those different fields, and we tried developing this kind of like immersive roundtable at the beginning of the year. Around digital fashion, which was one of the events that we did at DMC this year in VR space, which was really exciting given the conditions, of lockdown, and allowing to get all of those different people together. Yeah. So I guess that's a bit about me and my experience at DMC.
Thank you. You did the it was an AR filter with Shelter, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
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 I thought that was great. Yeah. Thank you. Who's next?
I'm happy to go next if you like.
Go for it.
Yeah, all right. Hello everyone joining us on Teams. Yeah, it's great to be here and speak as part of the Emerging Realities event, which you're running, and I think it's great that you guys have got that opportunity to sort of connect and see all these amazing designers working in the field of technology. I myself popped along to the Inez Alpha talk earlier today and found it very inspiring. So it's brilliant that sort of the London College of Fashion is stepping into those spaces. So a bit about me. My name's Owen, as you can tell by the name above my avatar. I'm a third-year student studying creative direction for fashion, so also at the School of Media and Communication. In terms of my practice, I think the best way to describe what I do is I'm a multidisciplinary designer, working at the intersection of fashion and technology, with more recently this sort of strong focus on sustainability. I joined the Digital Maker Collective at the start of the academic year, so I think it was maybe the beginning to middle of October. And how I discovered the Digital Maker Collective was through the wonderful Ashwini, who we have with us today, seeing sort of the stories that she was posting of what she was doing as part of this group on Instagram, and just thought it looked really cool. Was very sort of curious by what I saw, and reached out to her asking her what this was all about, and then the next thing, I was joining these sessions myself, and from then on, I've been regularly attending these sessions, and I feel very grateful to be a part of this sort of wonderful community that we've developed since then, exploring these sort of cutting edge technologies, and developing these new sort of skills around them, which I'm hoping to then leverage in my own projects this year. So that's a little bit about me and how I came across the DMC. Thank you.
Thank you, Owen. Ashwini?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ashwini. I'm the one with the white mustache, in case you can't tell. I study BA Fashion Design and Development at LCF. I'm currently in my final year. And I'm a digital fashion designer. I got into that kind of in late 2019, early 2020. So that's when I started exploring more of fashion tech and just digital spaces and things. And that's when I joined the DMC as well. I joined last year during the pandemic. And over the last 6 months, actually, I think that I've enjoyed most about being part of this collective is going to the meetups twice a week. And it's kind of given me that community that I hoped to find when I first joined UAL. But I mean, I think, especially when it comes to something like fashion tech, it's not very easy to find that because you're always looking for the right people who share similar interests. And when I joined the DMC, I really found that. And I think every time we have a meetup, which is twice a week, we always have a really great time. And it's like, especially during the pandemic where you can't go out and meet your friends, it's like hanging out with your friends twice a week. But at the same time, the discussions are so insightful, and everyone's always bringing new topics that they're interested in, and new kind of virtual experiences that they've had. And we're all exploring these things together and doing collaborations. So it's just, it's been amazing. And it's also influenced my work a lot. My practice has evolved so much since I joined the DMC. I'm working on a fully digital graduate collection now, and I'm using a lot of tools like VR painting, and I'm creating virtual reality spaces to display my collection and all of these sort of things. And I've just discovered so many new tools and uses for those tools as well as part of the DMC. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Ashwini. Who have we missed?
Jack.
Jack, I'm so sorry, Jack.
That's all right. Hello, world. Hello, teams. I'm Jack, and I joined the TMC quite late in September, if I remember correctly. So I still feel quite new. But in that short period of time, I've really enjoyed being part of the DMC, and because of just the friendship and community feeling that is here and that I feel is missing due to the pandemic at the moment, But within the DMC, I am trying to spearhead the the talk about performance and where live performance could go. So I tried to start conversations about theatre and with elements of like game design, but I'm interested in trying to restage and create performance on platforms like Space, like in this platform here, Frame VR. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think to say.
So essentially, we've got. Thank you, everyone. That was amazing. And I think essentially, over the last few months, we haven't really forced any agendas. I think it's been a very sort of social exchange, really. But basically, there has been certain sort of shared interests, as always happens in the DMC, of sort of crossovers of interest, basically, and they are digital fashion, immersive performance, as Jack was just saying, but also we've got some art students as well. That so we've been exploring like virtual galleries, and then kind of running it through those strands. There's obviously a general interest in virtual reality, how that impacts on all those sort of areas, but also we've been exploring sort of cryptocurrencies as well, and again that kind of impacts on all three of those themes. So I think that's been a kind of natural result of our sort of weekly conversations, really, and that sort of identifying that sort of shared mutual interest.
Amazing, thank you. I think it's great to hear that I really get a sense from you guys that there's this sense of community that you found in VR, which is interesting. I mean, there is that whole social media side of it, and when people participate in that way, I think somehow, I don't know whether it's the fact that we're all these quite cartoonish avatars, like it doesn't even try to go to any level of realism where you get sort of uncanny valley territory and stuff like that. There's something that really works about it. I think it's really, you can participate in a way that is completely different from real life, yet has similar kind of exchanges and interactions, I think. So I think you're going to take us on a journey, are you not?
Here we are.
Yes, we are.
I think
Who's leading the way?
I think Ashwini, Owen, you mentioned, no, it was Mathilde mentioned about should we start with the costume, the designs you did, Ashwini, and then we can go through the door up there to digital fashion?
Sure. There are two just at the end of this corridor, so if we want to move over there, maybe we can try those on and then go up to the digital fashion space.
Okay.
Amazing.
So these are just bits of kind of digital fashion merchandise that I was working on to bring into frame. And so we just pop behind these garments, really, like so it looks like the avatars are wearing these garments. And it's just a fun little experiment that we did. Chris, you have to go a little bit behind.
Sorry, I'm just bringing my camera so I can see myself.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to dress yourself.
No, I'm just bringing my. There I am. Yeah. Okay. I can see myself now. There you go.
Perfect. Yep.
Perfect.
And yeah, for those watching, it might be worth mentioning the fact that this was sort of an extension of a project where we stage a digital fashion event, which is a space we will go to in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that we run just before the end of last year. And Ash, you created these pieces, didn't you, off the back of that?
Yeah, so these are created in Clo 3D, and they were just imported into frame, which is it's really quite simple to do, to import things into frame. And then we just stand behind them and pretend like we're wearing them. So it's kind of like a prototype for something else that we're planning to work on.
Yeah. So essentially, I think it's kind of starting to explore, because as we're, like I say, Frame VR is like our base camp, but we hop off into other spaces. So VR Chat, Alt Space, Engage VR, or in like Sansar, for instance, which is like a big events venue for live gigs and all that sort of stuff. So there's loads of merchandise. So we were looking at what's the processes for creating digital merchandise and stuff like that, and is because again that then taps into cryptocurrencies and all that sort of stuff. So we're really just exploring every aspect of the immersive web that we can really.
Digital gig economy.
Yep.
Trying. It should also be said that this is obviously not just VR. I mean, it can be accessed on just a browser. I know we've said that before, but I think people do get a bit confused.
Yeah, and actually, just to be clear to all you guys, I did think of accessing this via the via Oculus Quest, but a VR headset. But I thought that might be complicating things too much. But yeah, this is just off my desktop browser. Nothing complicated going on. You can also, it works quite well if you just put it as a link into a browser on your mobile phone. Because then you can just move your phone around and navigate the space that way.
Yeah, and really when we started, pretty much none of us had VR headsets. So it is like an entry sort of gateway technology really for just getting our heads around the spatial web and the 3D environment. And basically what we're seeing now as we progress, so the DMC, obviously the members here are the ones that volunteered for this particular session, but the wider DMC, which we'll give a shout out to, which are, some of them are watching on the Teams, and will be joining us later at 6 o'clock, so we might get a few more people in here. But the DMC is around 30 people at the moment, and so each meeting's around 15-ish, we have about 15 to sort of 18 people joining each session normally. Come and go different kind of numbers, but most people are attending meetings every week, which is really amazing. And also, as you can see, the great thing about the DMC is that it's primarily UAL, and that's how we contain it really. It's UAL's students, staff, alumni. We do work with external collaborators as well, but we also work across all the colleges, so it's not just one college, or we try and get that sort of UAL community, and I think that's where the magic happens in terms of when you've got fashion students working with performance students and fine art students and spatial design students and alumni and staff. It's just amazing.
Absolutely, I think that's great.
Great, let's go off to up the stairs and through the door to the digital fashion space.
Yep, digital fashion, here we come.
Need some music. So if you click the door and then click the door and then enter. Yeah.
Cool.